Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a great day. I'm glad you're all here. My name is Gary Polio. I'm the Executive Director of Interfaith Community Housing of Delaware. We're located just a block and a half from here on 7th and Washington Street. And we are very excited about the launch of not only a major affordable housing development project for our organization, but also the fact that this is sort of the inaugural initiative launch for the Creative District here in Wilmington. So we're here to celebrate and kind of acknowledge two really, really important periods of time right now. Let me give you a little background. I'm going to try to move through this pretty quickly because we have just a short list of speakers, and it is a little bit warm in here, so I'll move through pretty quickly. Just to give you a rundown of our project, we're proposing to develop a project called the Willing Street Artist Village. What's unique about this particular project is that this project has been designed by artists for artists. And I'll talk a little bit later about what that all really means. Anyway, the proposal is to construct 10 units of affordable housing on a half a block just across the street from here, between 5th and 6th Streets and Washington and Willing Street here in Wilmington. This is a rather complicated project because not only does it include considerable funding paired with by public and private sources, but it's a specific type of housing that we're constructing, and it also includes significant historic preservation. Many of the houses that we're going to be renovating were built in the late 1800s and haven't been touched in decades. They're currently all vacant. Some of them have been owned by investors, some of them have been owned by banks, and some of them have been owned by the city of Wilmington. So we've got a really interesting combination of properties that we've purchased and properties that have been donated. So that makes it all the more interesting and exciting a project for us. Again, to emphasize that all of these properties are currently vacant. So one of the more direct benefits that we're going to be able to achieve as a result of this project is not only to create home ownership in a historic neighborhood that really is in desperate need of more home ownership, but we're going to be engaging in revitalizing the community and stabilizing housing structures that have, for all intents and purposes, been unstable for a while. So this is a true public-private partnership, and what I mean by that is, while there's considerable public money invested in this project, there's also considerable private money invested in this project, and you're going to hear from one of our private investors a little bit later on the agenda. I think the end result of this project, again, not only is it going to provide affordable housing for new residents in Wilmington, but it's going to be impactful and unique. And what I mean by that is it will create jobs, and it will also create revenue for the city of Wilmington. Converting vacant properties that are non-revenue generating properties into revenue generating properties is something that we always like to be part of. We're very eager to start. We believe that we've got all the right pieces in place for a construction start next month. So we're very anxious about getting going. I will ask that you at some point please come up and take a look at some of our renderings and the floor plans. You can get a chance to see what the housing will look like. I sort of passed over by mistake that there will be 10 units of housing. Seven of those units will be condos, ranging anywhere from 800 square feet up to 1,100 square feet, and there'll be 3 single-family homes, 2 and 3 bedroom homes that will be as large as 1,600 square feet. So this is the most difficult part of what I have to say today, and that's I have to recognize and thank the people that have been part of this project up to this date. And I'm going to start out by saying, if I missed you, I'm really, really sorry, because it's a really, really long list. It starts with the state of Delaware, the governor's office, Delaware State Housing Authority, our elected officials, Helene Keeley for one. I know I'm going to miss somebody. In the city of Wilmington, the mayor's office has been very, very supportive, as is the Department of Planning and Real Estate and Housing. It just goes on and on. Folks like Lenny Safran, Nyla Gilliam, Jim DePinto, John Kurth, Tom Ford. I see Tom over there. Thanks for your help, Tom. City Council has also been extremely supportive. Both the Housing Committee of City Council as well as City Council in general, Sammy Prado, Hanifa Shabazz, Loretta Walsh, and Theo Gregory. This really has been an interesting process where, surprisingly, we have seen very, very little resistance. We've been able to work through the issues, we've been able to negotiate, we've been able to compromise to provide, to deliver a project that's going to meet everybody's expectations. To go on and on. The Wilmington Renaissance Corporation, the Christina Cultural Arts Center, the Chris White Gallery, Quaker Hill Neighborhood Association. They've been extremely supportive and very, very helpful, not only in supporting our request for a variance and zoning, but also they've been instrumental in providing us insight and guidance into the design of the units as well. The planning councils, and then last but not least, the funders. DSHA, JP Morgan Chase, NCOL Research is providing the construction financing for the project. My staff, all my staff are here. They better be here. All my staff are here. Raise your hand. They've been very, very supportive. This really has been, it really has been, I know it's really cliche to say, oh, you know, it's teamwork, but this has really been a really team effort. And everybody in my organization has had some touch on this project. And then my board. My board's been extremely supportive. Rick and my other board members, if you're a board member of Interfaith, please raise your hand. I see a number of you here today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your support. And I think I'm done. I'm sorry. Tom Gordon, our county executive, is here. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate it. So at this point in time, we're going to want to move through the agenda, and I'm going to pass the microphone over to Rick Gessner. Rick is with Capital One, and he has been the chairman of our board of directors for just a little over 2 years now. Rick?
Thanks, Gary. When Gary asked me to introduce the governor, I thought, well, we've all known the governor a long time and try to think of something new or unusual. So I thought, well, I'll look at Wikipedia, because they always have something interesting. And as normal with Wikipedia, when I look at it, I tend to get distracted. And I looked at the list of governors and I realized, wow, I've known every Delaware governor all the way back to Burke Carvel. And he became governor in January 1949, long before I was born. But that really made me start thinking, especially because we were going to be in this very historic building today, and to think about how much this city has changed since January of 1949. At that time, the population of the city was over 110,000 people. And you think of what's happened over the decades, and this is really where the city started. And through the efforts of the governor, who really pushed through the Delaware downtown development districts, this is going to not only aid the city of Wilmington in this specific area, but it's also going to aid cities throughout the state, from Newcastle to Newark to Dover to Laurel and Seaford. So I think this is one of those bills that it didn't get a whole lot of press when it passed, but it's something that could have an extremely long-term positive impact on the state of Delaware. We really have to thank the governor and his staff for really taking this idea and being able to get the legislature to endorse it and to fund it. And so it's something I think is going to have a very positive, both short-term and long-term impact. And by the way, he is the 73rd governor of Delaware, Jack Markell.
Well, thank you, Rick. I took a very deep breath because my son texted me like 2 months ago. He says, "You have got to change your Wikipedia entry. It is awful," he said. But it doesn't work like that. They don't really let you do that. But I want to thank Gary and Rick and everybody at Interfaith for this phenomenal project, partnering with Wilmington Renaissance. What a great combination of organizations in our state. And thank you so much. You're going to be hearing from Glenn in a little bit. I also want to thank Anas and the team from the Delaware State Housing Authority who have done a great job. To the funders, and there's a significant team here from JP Morgan Chase. We are so blessed to have you as a major employer in our state, and we are incredibly grateful for the employment and for your community support. So thank you. Let's hear it. They're putting real money on the line. I want to acknowledge Senator Brian Townsend, who just walked in a couple minutes ago. Thanks for coming, Brian. But most importantly, to the mayor and to the members of City Council and to the county executive who have been so focused on the city of Wilmington and making it all that we know it can be. The progress that is happening in the city of Wilmington is extraordinary. And if you just take the time to walk the blocks, and within walking distance, an easy walk of where we are right here, and you see the developments on Market Street, you see the project where the parking lot used to be, where they're going to be building 231 new units. This particular project, 10 units for the Creative District. These are exactly the kinds of investments that any city would want. And it's happening right here around us in Wilmington. And it's happening, and I think you know, Gary and Rick got to it, the idea that people are working together in the private sector, the not-for-profit sector, the banks, the state agencies, the city government and county government. And this is what it takes. And if we manage every day to roll up our sleeves and check our egos at the door and get the work done, we're going to see more and more of this. And I'm just really, really excited by it. And I think the whole concept, and I want to thank, I really do want to thank Glenn and Carrie especially for the vision around the Creative District and your stick-to-itiveness and determination and perseverance to get this done. You know, this is the beginning. And I appreciate what Rick had to say about the downtown development districts, but I do think when you look at the combination of the Neighborhood Building Blocks Fund, the downtown development districts, the support of our funders and all of the others who are here, and then, perhaps most importantly, and I think Sean is here to represent the folks who live here, you know, this is always about people in the local community taking responsibility for making their community better. And there's a role for the rest of us to play to provide some of the resources so that they can do this. But if you didn't have buy-in from the folks who live here, then it wouldn't happen. So, Sean, probably the hardest work is your work. And so we really appreciate you know, your being here and representing the community, but most importantly, the hard work that you all are going to do to make this happen. So I'm thrilled to be here. I think it's exactly the kind of progress that we want to see. I think a lot of people are working really hard to make it happen. And if you think back, you know, today, 10 years ago, I've got pictures in my office 10 years ago, Lower Market Street, all boarded up. Today, Lower Market Street's vibrant. I think, Rick, every unit down there is just about every unit's rented in like 10, 12 years. And so the progress is unbelievable. And you know, you look back longer in the riverfront, and you think about, and I also have pictures in my office, paintings in my office of what the riverfront was 20 years ago. The progress is unbelievable. And so there is no reason when we have all the right people working together, and when we have the community bought in, we will be looking back a few years from now at this time, and to say, remember when. And look how it is look how it is now, and that's what we're going to be saying. I think there are a whole lot of people making it happen. To all of you congratulations. I apologize if I have to leave early. I'm supposed to speak in Newark at 4, but very much appreciate all that everybody's doing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Governor. Just a couple of additional points of recognition. Bonnie Wu from Governor from Carper's office. If you're here, raise your hand. Oh, nice to see you. Thank you for coming. And Andrew Densmore from Senator Coons' office. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you. The governor talked about partnerships and bringing the community into projects such as this, community development projects, and what the value is and how important that is. And what's equally important is that all of these things leverage against one another. When it comes to funding, leverage for us and these kinds of projects are extremely critical. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in this business a long time, and I learned a long time ago that with the right project, the right timing, the right components of financing, these projects can be extremely successful. But in most cases, whether you like it or not, government really has to step up and help to take the lead on that. And this project is no different than many of the other projects I've been involved in. So what I'd like to do at this point is turn the microphone over to Anas Ben Addi, Director of State Housing Authority. DSHA's money was very instrumental, specifically Strong Neighborhoods money as well as DDD money, instrumental in getting our project up to the point where it's financed well and is going to be a successful project.
Thank you, Gary. The governor had to leave, but before he left, he told me that he was going to introduce me and say, here is my best cabinet member. But Gary stopped him and told him that now Gary had the duty to introduce me. So thank you, Gary, for that kind introduction. I'm really privileged and honored to be here in this celebration. This is a project that I'm sure took many months or even years to come to fruition between the Wilmington Renaissance Corporation and the Interfaith organization. And I'm glad that DSHA, through the funding, we were able to bring those efforts to fruition. At DSHA, we were able to allocate $750,000 to this project through the Strong Neighborhood Fund, which is a fund that was put in place by the governor, the attorney general, and the state legislators as a result of the JP Morgan Chase settlement. So we received about $2.8 million. And really the purpose of the funds is to do exactly what Gary has described, to go to communities that need that extra push to recover from the financial crisis and play the leverage role to do so. So we have communities that are in the upswing, that have recovered from the financial crisis, where values are at or even above what they were before the crisis. But we also have some pockets that have not recovered because of many other reasons. And they need that the market is not enough to take care of these pockets, and we need that extra investment from government to make that happen because there is a gap. So just to give you an idea, we received about $2.8 million. We had 4 allocations across the state, 3 here in Newcastle County, 2 right in the city, and 1 with Newcastle County government on the Road 9 corridor. And we have a 4th one down in Dover. We are planning to acquire, rehab, demolish / new construction of 55 homes across these 4 jurisdictions. We are leveraging the funds 1 to 2, so for $2.8 million, we are getting a total of about $8.5 million worth of investment, which is a great deal on my books. And this deal is no different. So for about $750,000, Gary and his team were able to raise another $1.2 million to leverage our funds. So keep up the good work, and for those of you who are here, who are interested in more funding, The state legislators have put a hold on the Bank of America settlement, so it's still time to advocate for more funding for the Strong Neighborhood Fund. Thank you.
I like the sound of that, advocate for more funding. Mostly the more funding part. An individual next on the agenda that really doesn't need much of an introduction. Very, very supportive of the work that Interfaith has always done in the city of Wilmington, the Honorable Dennis Williams.
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad you're here. I want to introduce two people. I know they've been introduced already, as Tom Gordon, who's a strong ally of the city of Wilmington, and Senator Townsend, who's a very strong ally of the city of Wilmington. And I want to thank both of them. If you drive around in our city, you see nothing but construction. When you see cranes going up, concrete being poured, construction workers working, your city's alive and well. And we are alive and well, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank all the folks that helped put this together. I truly do. I thank you so much, and I am so humble to you because I want you to keep coming back to Wilmington and build and build and build and build. And Capital One, I want your company here. I'm still holding on to your coattails. I want those 7,000 employees. And we're working so hard to keep that happening here. And I want to thank all the city council members, City Councilwoman Shabazz, Namni. I want to thank you for all the work you've done, and Sammy Prado, and any other city council members here, Romaine, representing Theo Gregory. We are on the United Front, and we care about our city. And our city is a city that we're going to stick together and build. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Next, one of our true friends, JP Morgan Chase Corporation, has been just phenomenal in terms of supporting our organization and the work that we do. Just met Mike today, so without further ado, Mike Zabranik from JP Morgan Chase.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I'm very excited to be here for many reasons. Obviously, a great event. I didn't know I'm also going to leave here, I think, 10 pounds lighter, so I feel pretty good about that. If we do this more often, maybe I can get back in shape. So we'll try to shoot for that. But on behalf of JP Morgan Chase, we are very excited to be part of this overall effort. You know, we're pleased to commit $600,000 to the planning and execution phase of the project. It's very important for us, obviously, to be part of the city of Wilmington, the state of Delaware. This is our second significant investment to the Wilmington downtown development district on top of the East Side Rising donation that we had announced previously. So, you know, being part of the state, being part of the city are very important to us. We're very proud of our history of supporting organizations and programs that benefit the communities that we serve. Also the communities, obviously, that we work and live in. You know, we are a very significant employer here in the city as well as the state, and we hope to grow and continue to be, you know, going forward. I've worked in downtown Wilmington for a long time, and I echo the governor's comments on seeing the improvement and the mayor's comments on what's going on and how important it is for all of us. You know, you sit in the city and you can see the economic issues and social issues that need to be worked on. And when you see initiatives like this, where you get the public and the private and nonprofit sectors all working together, it is a very exciting thing, and you feel good about yourself. You know, in the private sector, JP Morgan Chase, we certainly feel a responsibility, and we have a role to play in strengthening our ties to the community. You know, we have a very unique approach, I think. You know, we're a large global company, and we leverage our large resources and approaches because we can see issues around the globe, and really we bring maximum efforts to local communities like this as well. So I'm very happy to be part of it. I thank everybody for being here today, and we look forward to success. Thanks.
The work that Interfaith does has always been rooted in community. And those of us that are engaged in comprehensive community development work cannot be successful at doing what we do without engaging the residents in those communities in the work that we do. We have to listen to them, we have to work with them, and we have to be responsive to their interests and their needs and their wants. This particular project, I believe at this point, does that. Quaker Hill Neighborhood Association has been extremely supportive and a high-level participant in the work that we've done thus far. I have no reason to believe that they won't continue to be part of the work that we do in the future. Representing the Quaker Hill Neighborhood Association, Sean Riley.
Hi, everybody. We're talking today about tomorrow. So let me tell you about yesterday. Here, this property alone has more history in it than probably any one place in all of Delaware. We've got one of the greatest emancipators, Thomas Garrett, buried right out back here. Rick was talking about the governor being number 73. We got governor number 2 right out front here, John Dickinson. He was the penman of the Revolution. He was the author of the Articles of Confederation. We've got a lot of Tatnells and Canbys and Shipleys and the names that you see all over the streets and schools of our city and our town and our state buried right out here. This room, these floors, these walls have resonated sounds of anti-slavery right here. I live across the street in the corner of 4th and West, house built in about 1741, part of the Underground Railroad, where the enslaved would be hidden in tunnels under the street. We had a thing called the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850, which made it legal for anybody to pound on your door any time of the day and check it for the enslaved, the escaped. Even if they weren't escaped, they were taken back anyway as bounty, as money. Greed went that far. But that happened right here. And that was then. Before that, George Washington stayed on West Street in the summer of 1777 before the Battle of Brandywine. Lafayette was with him there. And they would go down to 3rd and West where the tavern was and have a good time and stroll back and have fun. But this area right here is all about history. We've got a great future moving forward. We've got a wonderful present that we're trying to achieve, but we cannot forget the past, because without the past, those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. So we can learn a lot of things just from what happened right here within these walls. And we thank everybody, the banks and all people who are involved, our council people, Hanifa and Sam and everybody, for making a difference, for us to make a difference. I've 32 years in that house, waiting for this moment. Come in. No, it's a great time that it's here, and I thank you all for coming today. Have a great day.
Thanks, Sean. Great projects have great partners and constitute great partnerships. For us, there really hasn't been a more effective and important partner for us than the Wilmington Renaissance Corporation. Representing the Wilmington Renaissance Corporation, Glenn Moore.
Well, I've been between, as the last speaker, food. I don't think I've ever been between air conditioning, so I'll try to make this quick. On behalf of the Wilmington Renaissance Board, I think you just mentioned the word I wanted to talk about. That's partner and partnerships. Our biggest and best partnership right here with Gary and Interfaith, but there's a lot of other folks that are already partners that have been mentioned, but I want to mention a few who are starting to be partners and have interest in partners, just to show you how big this is becoming. So you have people like the Grand, the Church of Saints of Andrew and Matthew, Connections, Downtown Visions, Morning Star Properties, Electricians Union 313, the Attorney General's Office, Wilmington Police Department, and others have asked to be a part of this partnership. And we appreciate all of what they've done. I'd be remiss if I didn't also, like Gary, thank the folks that make up the Wilmington Renaissance. It is, as we call them, a small and mighty group. It's Carrie's organization. So if I could ask them to stand, Carrie and Barb and Laura and Jen and Nibia, please stand. I also would like to thank, and many members are here, of the board of Wilmington Renaissance. This has been a long journey, but a worthwhile journey. And this is only the beginning. I'll have a quote for you at the very end, so look forward to that. So if you want to keep up to date, we launched a brand new website this morning. You'll see it on the little posters outside. It's www.creativedistrictwilm.com. So if you want to keep up with how things are going, social media, just go to that and you will find out everything that's going on. So we've given the speakers a break today. If we would have been outside, we were going to paint the mural on the outside. So instead of that, and that's why all the speakers received this apron. This is a selfie-approved apron, meaning you can take selfies and put that up on social media, but you'll see it in the tour. We will have a tour afterwards if you'd like. It's a little warm outside, but Gary's organization and his team is willing to take us around the blocks to see exactly. It's nice to hear about it. It's great to see it. And you'll be able to see that if you want to take a walk right afterwards. I'd like to close with a quick quote. I've always wanted to quote, you know, Shakespeare or Thoreau. Just don't have it in me. So I'm going to quote George Peppard and Liam Neeson. I love it when a plan comes together. So if you've ever seen the A-Team, that would make sense, but maybe we haven't seen the A-Team as much. So again, I'd like the speakers to stand by. We're going to take a quick picture. Again, if you'd like to, we will have walking through the district here so you can see exactly where these properties are going to be. I really want to thank everybody for coming and enjoy your day. Thank you very much.